Hi, folks. Buffin here with your Antifa News Briefa for March 31st, 2022. An update on Ginny Thomas's journey to jail and Clarence Thomas's vacating the Supreme Court bench. So today we have Moscow Mitch chiming in, because if you want to hear what Putin has to say about stuff, you can hear it from Moscow Mitch. So he's telling us that, you know, Clarence Thomas is being persecuted by Democrats asking him to recuse himself. It's not just Democrats, it's pretty much the law. Like he's required by law to recuse himself from any case involving Trump and the Trumpsurrectionists. And he already hasn't done that. So he's already broken the law because the news just came out about the text messages about his wife. But if you think about it, his wife would have been talking about this stuff to him too. So he knows where his wife stood on this stuff. He knows what his wife was up to. And he didn't recuse himself from previous cases involving him. So Clarence Thomas has already broken the law. And they talk a lot about how the Supreme Court, as the highest court in the land, has to police itself. But that doesn't mean Justice Thomas has to police himself. There's 8 other justices that can help police him. And I feel like that's the cause to go ahead and allow Clarence Thomas to shuffle off, because he doesn't need to be there in the first place. When you think about what he's done since he got there in the first place and why Moscow Mitch and Putin support him to begin with, it traces back to Alito, I believe. If I confuse which right-wing justice it is, I'm sorry, but the one that died recently, who's famous for originalism and his contribution or resurrection of American racism in America is originalism. Now, why do I call it American racism? Because he calls it himself. He's white proud of it, to say that originalism is about favoring what the original writers of the Constitution meant over any of the adjustments that have actually allowed it to somewhat live up to the American dream. To weigh the original sentiments, the slave owning sentiments, to make things as close to the slave owning conception of America as possible. That's what originalism means. That's what he says it means. He's not hiding this fact. And all Clarence Thomas ever did was vote along with that guy and double his vote on the Supreme Court. Well, now, one of the things they talk about is how if Thomas does recuse himself, or is removed, hopefully, from the Supreme Court, then it'll be a tie vote, assuming they know how every justice is going to vote. It'll be a tie vote for Trumpy election cases. And in a tie vote, it'll refer to the lower court, and the lower court's ruling would have bearing on the entire country, because that's the way the rules are set up. Well, they say that would be awkward. I heard them mention that today on NPR, some expert. And one way to avoid that awkwardness would be go ahead and add some more justices. Put Anita Hill on the bench. I've heard somebody suggest that. I don't know what her credentials are, but I do know her credentials are greater than Amy Coney Barrett's. So yeah, put Anita Hill on the bench. Put 3 more black women on the Supreme Court while you're at it, while you're in power. Make it 5. Just put a few more on there. You can at least justify the next one to say, hey, we're going to have a tie situation with Clarence Thomas gone or having to recuse himself. If he's gone in general, you got to replace him anyway. But you still might as well make a couple more spots for situations like this where otherwise there could be a tie. And here we go. It's time to use power in the ways that we can, because the bad guys did it on their side, or you can tell from Ginny Thomas's own statements that she was, willing to do anything to overthrow the country. Now, that type of influence on the Supreme Court, obviously wrong. Anybody can see it. The more we talk about it, the easier it should be to get rid of these people. But Moscow Mitch, of course, is standing up for him because, that's the only leg they have left to stand on is Putin. Putin's plan to, weaponize all the white supremacy in America against the American government. It was already built in enough when we were trying to root it out. Now, Putin's doing the kind of the same type of thing he's doing with ultra-patriarchy in Russia, and through his puppets, Modi and Bolsonaro in Brazil and India too. It's kind of the same thing for a reason. Putin patriarchy is the brand, and it needs to be canceled. So we can do that. We'll all be a lot happier without him. And it starts here at home. Arresting Trump, arresting Judy Thomas, and getting Clarence Thomas off the bench are good starters. We got a long way to go still, but that's a good place to start. And thanks to Moscow Mitch for alerting us to what the plan is. But whining about it's not going to stop the truth from coming out and justice from being done. Now, being really slow is apparently stopping justice from being done, but the truth is going to catch up with them, and everyone who's obstructed it will be held accountable for it. So, thanks for watching and sharing. Love you forever. See you soon.